Congratulations, everyone, on 50 years of operation at Stanton Station, and especially to those of you that are long-term employees and former employees, and those of you who were here at Stanton when the plant was started up. It's been many great years, many great experiences. I had the privilege of coming to work in May of 1976 for Ralph Sullivan, and Don Cullen was there at the time as well. We were soon joined by Dennis Grimm, and later by Al Galster, and a little later by Jim Ondrud, and so I had the chance to sit around and visit many times with those folks about the early days at Stanton Station. And I truly believe that Stanton Station was basically a very good pace-setting plant. Granted, it went through many problems in those early days, but the reason I call it pace setting is because the things that were learned in those days are things that have been incorporated and applied in the industry, and through the years Stanton has continued to contribute to knowledge of how to do low-ranked coals right, and the employees and the dedication that you had through all those years have been a big part of that story. And we think of people like Glenn Seiler, who I understand walked those fields and that area before the plants were even built in that area, having grown up there, and a lot of the rest of you who were from the nearby area and have many fond memories even of those days when the plant was being built. So congratulations to all of you current employees, all of the past employees, and thanks so much for all of you that are here today to celebrate with us. We think as you view the remainder of this video and as you look around the plant, you'll be reminded of all the successes that have come from the hard work and the dedication and the innovation of the employees that have been here throughout the years.
I was here when this plant started. You bet I was. Yeah, because we started it just prior to the end of the year. At that time, UPA, they borrowed the money to build the plant and the power lines under an agreement that they had to produce megawatts power before the end of 1966. And this plant was only half ready for that undertaking. So we got the thing online on Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, that's how we celebrated the plant operating. We fired it on oil, got the commitment done for UPA so that they generated some power prior to 1967.
Well, initially, if you're looking at the very beginning, we had a lot of difficulties in the plant. It was very challenging, but also very educational, because if things start up and run smooth, you don't have the opportunity to learn. We had a lot of challenges here. The boiler primarily, it had difficulty burning this lignite. For Foster Wheeler, it was I'm pretty sure it was our first pulverized coal-fired boiler using lignite. So they were on a learning curve as well.
This was a very bad type startup. We didn't have no motors to operate our dampers and all the things that are connected with getting this thing online. It was all done by hand. Everything put big extension rods on damper control, and then somebody would holler over the PA, a little more or a little less, and it was just hell to get this place started up. Yes, we learned a lot, because when we started there, most of us didn't know the difference between a boiler feed pump and an air compressor, and it was tough going.
But through those times, the group of people we had working here, they all pitched in with ideas and elbow grease. They all did their part. That was kind of enjoyable to watch people come together in those situations. Yeah.
We took a group of people from the local area, with the exception of some craft people that we brought in, some highly skilled technical people. But all the rest of the employees we hired locally, trained them ourselves, brought them up to our operating standards. And that gelled into one of the finest workforces that probably any power plant had the privilege of having.
Things that I remember that seemed to stick out from the beginning is everything we did, we seemed to shovel, whether it was ash or whether it was coal. We'd have to shovel the ashes out of the boiler. We were shut down a lot, and unloading coal cars. We did not have any coal crushers or crackers on at that time, and then in the wintertime when the miners went on strike and our coal pile was down, we'd have to sit up and watch the coal go by and pick off the chunks. That is things that in the early years. And we had a lot of fun doing it. It wasn't always sad faces. We made it fun just by the people that were there and the conversations that were held in these confined areas that were cold weather.
CROs were right beside us doing the same thing we were as laborers or whatever position you had. In '78, when they sent the rotor in to New York, we hauled all of the coal that we were required by Indian Head Mine to take X number of tons of coal. And since we were being shut down, we were going to be down for 4 months or so, we hauled all the coal to Basin Electric Leols. It was actually kind of a fun summer. Every driver that was driving a coal truck knew exactly which truck had the most power, which one went the fastest, even though we were supposed to be doing it in a non-rush situation according to Mark.
Well, when you're young like that, you've never experienced a power plant, say, or whatever, but so it was, I don't know if you can say work is exciting, but it was, it was different.
Everything was big, got lost all the time.
It was long days,
Then
nights.
Christmas of '83, we had that big freeze up, right?
I'll never forget that. I was an operator then, and I come in on I think it was a Friday, but nobody here really. Everybody's off for Christmas, and we were having issues, and it was just going backwards, and it was very cold out, and the basement, I remember in the bottom hatch looked like the North Pole. It was tons of ice, and I'd only been here not even 2 years yet, barely.
No.
So I didn't, but when I look back, if I'd have known, it was like wow. It was 6-8 inch pipes snapping.
Big chunks out of the sides of valves laying on the floor.
It was 15 degrees in the basement.
It was like a skating rink.
But that was kind of the start of all the, the newer technology was just coming of age, and too, as far as for boiler controls and pumps and started to have more electronic controls versus pneumatic. The pneumatic controls were a lot of work to keep going. It was orifices and diaphragms and stuff like that, and then things started coming of age about then, I guess, for lack of better words.
Yeah. I think, what did we go through? 5 different computer systems.
TDC 3000, Foxborough we had.
Foxborough and TDC.
The TDC was a touchscreen, and we had some control room operators. Once we moved from TDC to a mouse, there were some control room operators that couldn't get away from touching the monitors, so we had to slap their fingers a time or two.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best things that ever happened at that power plant was when the decision was made to build the second boiler. The company built the second boiler. The second boiler was brought into operation, and it functioned quite well right from the onset. And we were able to take the steam flow now from both boilers and blend them together and supply it to the single turbine generator. And this was one of the greatest things that happened at that power plant. That allowed that power plant the ability to function and operate and to come back up to its own operating standards that it needed to be at all those years. And that was probably the best achievement received at that power plant.
And I'm thinking back to the time when we switched to Powder River Basin fuel there from North Dakota lignite. And I thought at the time, wow, the employees are not gonna like this. I was wrong. They worked really hard to make that fuel work. There were some things we had to do. We got them done. The employees worked really hard to make that plant a good plant for Powder River Basin coal. It's really been a privilege for me to work with the Stanton employees. I've never seen a harder working, more dedicated, more skilled, more intelligent group of people than work at that power plant. And I've really enjoyed getting to know them over the years.
You could say my best memory of the entire process out there was the people. Not only the people at the plant, but the support we got from management, upper level management out of the home office, and the people at the plant. Those two blended together gave us basically all of the talent that we needed to take that plant from where it was at the onset of operation to where it is today. And when you can do that, you've got to say that you've got highly skilled, qualified people working, and it's just was one of the things that I enjoyed the most. Of all of the things that I have missed since retiring, I think people.
It's nice working at a smaller plant, I feel, because you have more personal relationships with people. It's almost like a family. And something's going on, you're going to be willing to help people out. And I mean, it's just nice working with people you can get a relationship with and build a relationship. And it's been like that with most everybody out here.
Become a family. You have 35 years with the same people as.
Being that we were all shift workers, a lot of holidays were spent with each other instead of our families.
The magic of Stanton Station has remained the same throughout its 50 years, and that is a dedicated and hardworking team. The plant has overcome major challenges every decade, and it has hosted some of the most innovative research among Midwest coal-based power plants. Stanton Station has not only served Great River Energy's members well, it has pushed the industry to new places. The discoveries that have occurred in Stanton, North Dakota have made power plants safer, cleaner, and more efficient throughout the country. The Stanton Station team has always embodied the member-first attitude that is so important for cooperatives. Even with the announcement of the plant's closure, employees accepted it with grace and professionalism, knowing it was in the best interests of our members. Stanton Station has been a big part of Great River Energy's success because of the pride employees bring to work every day. Thank you for 50 great years.
I want to congratulate Great River Energy for 50 years of service, so we're proud of them.
Congratulations, Stanton Station. Very happy to see the 50 years for you.
So I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate this facility on making it 50 years. And to all employees that participated in 50 years.
Congratulations, Stanton, on 50 years.
Congratulations, Stanton, on your 50 years of service.
Congratulations on 50 years.
Stanton Station.